What's going on to all my Libras out there? I just want to say we actually surpassed the 2100 mark. This is insane, the kind of support that y'all are giving. I really appreciate it. Let's get to the reading. Now, the next goal for us is 2,500. Let's see if we can get this channel to 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year. I know we can because I've been hitting all the milestones before. Really appreciate y'all. Really thank y'all for this. I can't continue to thank y'all. This is, let's get into it. So you have the Eight of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the King of Swords. Hold on one second. Okay, yeah. The Death card, the Two of Swords, and then you have the Knight of Wands. I was just fixing something spiritually. So putting something into the different categories. But okay, so for the Libras, no major arcana so far that represents Libra, but this is still going to be a reading for you nonetheless. The Eight of Pentacles and the Hierophant represent this being a situation for a lot of you where what you want to do is, a lot of you Libras right now are very much so concentrated on yourselves, your health, your finances, your mental health, your friends, your family, yourself, trying to make yourself the best that you can be. Don't worry, the video is coming out about Libras to help y'all put yourselves in positions to be in, to be better off in life. I'm just, I got a lot of videos coming out. Please bear with me. I got a lot of videos that I got to do. I got one video that's waiting right now. So then you have the Hierophant. The Hierophant represents seeking enlightenment, seeking spiritual enlightenment. Some of you may even seek religious enlightenment. That's okay. If that's something that you want to do, go ahead and do that. But as of right now, you're concentrating on your health. You're trying to do your best to heal from the pain and the suffering that a lot of you Libras may have dealt with within your past relationships, your shortcomings. To give credit to you Libras, a lot of you Libras, and I do see this, you Libras are trying to do the personal work. And I promise you, it is going to be worth it, and it is going to be worthwhile. You are going to benefit a lot when you do the personal work. When I got myself into the clip off, and I still have to make a video about that, but very quickly, when I got myself into the clip off, it was all bad. But then when I got myself out of the clip off, that was my reward. It was an upswing from there, because that was my reward for all of the spiritual practices that I actually did, right? So the things that you have, the King of Pentacles. Now the King of Pentacles represents this being a situation for you where you are doing the practice to alleviate yourself or to get rid of the internal personal problems, your shortcomings, the relationships that you've had. A lot of times Libras suffer from terrible relationships because Venus, like I said before, is actually a trickery planet. Most people don't know that. If you've ever read up about Venus or Aphrodite or any of these mythological figures of love, they were actually trickster figures along with Mercury as well. That's part of the reason why it is that Mercury and Venus actually kind of had a love thing going on, to be, because Mercury is a trickster figure, and so is Venus, or Aphrodite is a trickster figure. And Libra being ruled by Venus, Aphrodite is a trickster figure, right? Venus is a trickster figure. And what I mean by that is that it's saying that, because the mythology is Venus or Aphrodite, right, the figure of love, would actually cast a spell to get people who disliked each other and had vitriol and bad blood with each other to actually start liking each other and being in love. And then when Aphrodite took the spell off, then they began to dislike each other again. So what it's trying to show you is that what it's trying to show you is that the way that love is, my dear Libras, especially in the context of things today, Libras, it's not necessarily what it is that you think it would look like. So a lot of times the dating market or the dating pool, it's a bunch. I'm not saying everybody is like this, but a lot of people, more often than not, are actually a bunch of dysfunctional people that are trying to simultaneously get over the traumas that they've had, shortcomings, family traumas, relationship traumas, the people who told them that they were going to be nothing, accomplish nothing, and trying to actually date at the same time and give people a fair shake. So you can imagine the type of dysfunction and problems that people would normally have. You as Libras, you're going through a lot of these issues, right? Just bear with me. You're going through a lot of these issues to get to here, the Nine of Swords. You can start getting frustrated enough because remember, Libra is the exact opposite of Aries, and Aries represents fighting for the greater good. For you Libras represent, see, with Aries represents the action. Libra represents the understanding and the idea. You feel me? So why I'm saying that is because Libra, y'all are supposed to understand people. You're supposed to understand how to date better. And that's the process that a lot of you Libras are going through right now. I'm saying all that to say that. That's the process that a lot of you Libras are going through right now. A lot of you Libras are in a situation where you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in a position where you asking yourself these questions. Why is it that love doesn't work for you? Because that's a good thing that you asked yourself this question so you can actually get the answer to why. The answer why is because, or I should say the answer to why is because a lot of people out here are dysfunctional, and you have to be able to pick and choose who are the ones that are functional and actually working on themselves and getting over the pain, and who are the ones who are stuck in the mud of being in the pain forever and ever and ever, and never will they actually remove themselves from the pain or grow from it, right? And you starting to ask yourself these questions are a good thing because you'll be able to understand human nature a lot better, to be able to very quickly after meeting somebody know if they are good, right, or potentially can be with you for a long time or not. The Nine of Cups represents how the way that they're going to act towards you, though. A lot of people who are dysfunctional, everyone is going to try to put their best foot forward. Everyone is going to try to make it seem like, whether it's a very good attempt to put the best foot forward, whether it's a sincere whether it's they are sincere at actually putting their best foot forward, whether it's an attempt to put their best foot forward and it's not a very good one, or whether they don't really put a very good foot forward at all because they're very arrogant. You will see those types of engagements out here if you can get past the Nine of Swords and actually start to learn. But like I said before, there's a problem with Libra because I ain't gonna say the only problem, but one of the problems with Libra is Libra can sometimes think, and people can disagree with me if they want to in the comment section. We can have a talk about this, right? Just kind of telling me what it is from your perspective. But Libra sometimes, and the air signs sometimes, can mistake themselves into thinking that they know more than what they actually do. And this is a bad mistake that no one, regardless of zodiac sign, should really get themselves caught up in, because then you ultimately become unprepared, right? You put yourself in a position where whatever comes next that you do not know about, it's, are you going to be willing to admit that you don't understand it, or are you going to act like you do get it but you keep approaching the dating world completely incorrectly because of your approach to it, which is you know everything, right? Or you know a lot. The Queen of Wands represents remember to always don't try to force relationships. If relationships don't necessarily work for you, Libras, it's always time for you, Libras, to actually leave the relationship, because what you're going to have here is you're going to find yourself in a position where if you are very um unhappy in one, there's no point in you being in one. And if you don't allow yourself to be yourself and to admit that certain relationships don't work anymore, even when it comes to, regardless of whatever it is that the person looks like, even if they look like your archetype or your archetype or your preference, if the relationship doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You trying to force yourself to be to be what they want to be, or fantasy, it's really only going to unfortunately hurt you, right? And considering the fact that what it is that you Libras want is acceptance and love, and to be in a relationship and stuff like this, and it's part of your makeup, faking a relationship is not going to really do you any good, right? It's actually going to do you a disservice. And a lot of you Libras should know that. So the next step for you Libras after that is the King of Swords and the Death card. The King of Swords represents, you should understand that you shouldn't be so upset if things don't necessarily work out in relationships for you, because again, I have to ask the question, is it that people are out here playing games, or is it the rantings and the ravings of essentially a lunatic, right? People who may not necessarily know how to deal with their own emotionalism, and they're not necessarily aware. If you ask me, from my own humble perspective, it's the latter. It's the people who are not necessarily really aware to be able to control their mental and physical and emotional faculties. That takes up the majority of the dating market, because them them telling you that they're going to call you and then don't, or flake on you, is really not them playing games. It's their own problems showing through, right? Because who does that? Oh, I'm going to hang out with this person to flake on them. Is just that they're saying that, Libra, they're saying that, Libra, to be able to save face, because what really is going on with them is they really they're really scared. Really, they're really scared. They're really scared to give you a call. They're really scared. They're really scared to give you a call. They're really scared to reach out and say what's up, because they doubt themselves, right? These are conversations, my dear Libras, that they are having with themselves. They're having with themselves these type of doubtful conversations, where it's like, what if you Libras don't pick up? What if this? What if that? And it's like, these are conversations that they're having with themselves. So it's not that people are out here playing you, them playing you, or anyone getting played, Libra, in situations where y'all put yourself out there and y'all end up getting played, quote unquote, is not intentional. That's actually, it's something that they do and people kind of embrace to make it seem like they're ingenious, but in actuality, them playing games or running games is actually a side effect, or it's actually accidental. The only type of people out here who are intentionally playing games are the people you shouldn't trust anyway, because why does anyone, regardless of zodiac sign, need to actually says that to themselves? They're going to go ahead and hang out with you just so that they can flake on you later, and they think about that. The Two of Swords and the Knight of Wands represents this being a situation for you Libras where then you have the Death card. The Death card is understanding that you do have a lot more choices out here, Libra, and that you really shouldn't take the dating pool too seriously, just like I don't. because you understand what's really going on out here. What's really going on is a lot of people are out here playing games, but the games is accidental because they really got their own personal issues that they are not even on top of. They are having problems themselves. It's not what it is that you think. But the problem is the Two of Swords. You may be out here getting defensive, thinking to yourself, why isn't things happening? But you don't understand that the world is not what it is that you think it is. Knight of Wands. It's not these marauding people playing games and these wolves out here. It's not what you think. It's not these people out here trying to, trick you around every corner. It's really people out here really on some dysfunctional stuff, who are delusional, who really got issues, coming to terms with their own faults, follies, past relationships that didn't necessarily work out, things that they've got going on at work, things that all of these things affect the dating market. All of these things affect the way that people date because it's all an aspect of health, right? You trying to go out, you trying to, what I'm saying? For instance, somebody trying to go out with somebody and the person is asking to go to an expensive restaurant, that's financial health. Then you say, hey, you don't necessarily want to go to this fancy restaurant. You want to go to something a little bit more cheaper than that, just because you don't know the person right now. So you just trying to take it easy and get to know them, and they get mad and they flake on you and all this stuff. Like, these are all different aspects of health that people need to take care of that ultimately affect the dating market. So let's clarify the death card. So you have the moon, the three of cups, and then you have the seven of wands to clarify the death card. So this is a situation where, again, the moon represents all about that emotional and feelings work, right? This is why Cancer crabs are so important, is because you're supposed to deal with that emotional baggage. Otherwise, it becomes junk. Because Cancer crabs deals with cluttering, junk, right? That's why the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, that's why it is that they like to hoard things, right? They like to keep things. They like to collect things. They like to keep a lot of it. And oftentimes they keep so much over a period of time that it becomes like a situation where they got a lot of things around them and stuff like this, and it makes their residence crowded, right? More crowded than what it has to be. It doesn't even have to be crowded at all. But Cancer crabs also represents that level of emotional and intentional crowding of itself, or clutter. So Cancer is naturally ruled by the moon, but the moon in Tarot is ruled by Pisces. But Pisces and Cancer, the water signs are secret. Well, except for Cancer, but but yes, the water signs in general, yes, are known as secret houses. So the thing is that the moon represents having to declutter all that stuff. The three of cups and the seven of wands represents this being a situation for you where what's happening here is that you need to learn to relax. You need to learn to let things be what they are. I don't necessarily suggest going out there and getting some drinks, but if that's something that a lot of you Libras want to do, go ahead and feel free to do so. The seven of wands represents this being a situation for you where, if, and last but not least, if there's anybody that you, for future references, gives you some problems, you Libras should really have no problem with this, because you should really keep in mind that they are going through their own personal issues too. And it's not just only you, Libra. It's just that you Libras may be healthy enough to date, but they may not. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right? Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe. Peace.